Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy,
I'm traveling Raka.
Travis Rocka on the road, and we're here with another episode for you, another video for you guys. Welcome all Dead Air Dudes Nation. Welcome everyone all around the States, Europe, Asia, and everywhere in between.
SpaceX.
Today we're going to have one of our versus comparisons. We're gonna take two recent post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic movies that both came out in 2020. You can see them both streaming online currently. One is Midnight Sky, 2020 film directed by George Clooney, starring George Clooney, Felicity Jones, and written by Emil Smith, and a book by Lily Brooks Dalton, And the other one is Greenland, also from 2020, directed by Rick Roman Waugh, and written by Chris Sparding, starring Gerard Butler, Scott Glenn, and Morena Baccarin. All right, now we'll have Rocka go with Midnight Sky. Take it away.
All right, so Midnight Sky, the George Clooney vehicle, now trending on Netflix, I believe.
Yes.
It started out. Now it's a post of. No, actually, it's in the middle of the apocalypse of Earth. They do not get into specifics as what happened, what caused it. The Earth is imploding in the very eyes. They allude to a couple of things because he says a key phrase of "we didn't take care of the planet." But basically, he plays the role of I would say, borderline
Scientist, doctor,
scientist, but possibly on a spectrum of Asperger's, or he's very aloof and very socially awkward.
very
But
smart.
he's extremely smart, and he's driven by finding a new colony for humans to go to in the unlikely event, which is now the likely event, of a global pandemic, or maybe, global apocalypse, or possibly we will outgrow the Earth as far as population. Either way, he meets a fellow woman scientist. Actually, the woman scientist meets him, and she's the one she's totally enamored by him, but she's the one that engages in a relationship. Fast forward a few years, they have a kid, but he won't leave the research. Research or family, he stays with the research. Fast forward into present time where things are imploding. He is in some research facility, I believe in Antarctica, and everybody's leaving, trying to get to some kind of shelter. He wishes to stay behind. As he endures again, there's no specifics, but it seems to be a terminal illness involving his respiratory system and maybe his whole body. He gives himself therapy. He checks his breathing. He checks his blood levels. He thinks he's all alone, left behind, and by his choice. But no, there seems to be a young girl left behind who's also, by chance, mute. Her name is Iris. He uses Iris as a talking point.
What a coincidence. She's mute,
And she's mute. Long story short, yes, spoilers abound. There's an interstellar spaceship that went to see a planet he had targeted to be possible life-sustaining for humans. It's a positive idea, yes, but they're returning back, and he's telling the ship, no, don't come back. Go back to where you are. Start a new life. Earth is shot. Earth is a wasteland. It turns out that the girl on board does not know it, but he is her father. Her name is Iris. He saves them and in turn saves humanity. It was largely predictable, but we'll get to the pros and cons. And if you want to go to Greenland, I turn over the phone to you.
All right, Greenland, like you said, is starring Gerard Butler, Morena Baccarin. Gerard Butler plays, what was his name? He plays I forgot his name.
Oh,
but he plays he
plays an engineer, structural engineer.
He's a structural engineer, and there's a comet, not an asteroid, a comet coming, and it's supposed to come close. It's gonna be real close to the Earth, and everyone's all excited about it, whatever. But it comes to pass, it's gonna really devastate. It's gonna be an Earth, a planet killer, a level and extinction level event, EXE, all right, ELE. I'm sorry, and they had a lottery, and all the people that are necessary in the world who can help rebuild the world, are sent to a bunker in, guessed it, Greenland, and to pretty much jumpstart civilization again. Now, the thing here is that instead of you're expecting it to be a deep impact volcano Armageddon type where the buildup is and you see everything blowing up, this is more of I won't say a family piece, but it's more of a lot of talking, a lot of freaking inner working within the family because he left the family. Either they don't go into details, either he cheated or he stepped away.
Oh yeah, he cheated.
There you go. He cheated. He stepped away from the marriage, and now he wants to come back. So she's taking him back, and it's all whatever. And they got to go. So they drive all the way down to the military base. All right, spoilers abound, by the way, everyone. And please like, comment, subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Hit that button. All that good stuff. And come to pass that the kid has type A diabetes. Type A, right? So
yeah.
Anyway, so he has one of those machines.
Type 1. Okay.
It's one of those machines. So he basically, if you're sick, you can't go. They get kicked off the plane. They get separated. He spends the rest of the movie trying to get back to his family. She goes to see her dad, who played by Scott Glenn, a nice little cameo. And then they finally find another way. They have to go to Canada, and then from Canada they're gonna get on a plane, and from the plane they're gonna go from Canada to Greenland. Okay, all right. So they finally get there. Get there almost late. People are dying left and right. Pieces of the comets are coming down, and they reunite, and they love each other again. And there's a nice scene with the dad, and the dad stays because he has to freaking stay because to take care of the horses and whatever. So they know he's gonna die, and the kid and the mom, and all kind of putting at your heartstrings. And they get to Canada. The last plane is leaving. He freaking goes and he drives in front of the plane, stops the plane. The plane's full, which was kind of a douchey move. I get it, but I mean, the guy said, you're gonna probably kill us, if you freaking,
You're 200 pounds plus.
200 pounds. I mean, if you look back at 300, that man is not 200 pounds. He's more than that. But that's besides the point.
In 300, he was less than that, but
yeah, but he was chiseled. But
he found the buffet line.
Yeah, they finally convince him. They get on the plane. He's all burnt up because he was a good Samaritan. He saved someone's life. So at that point, I thought that he was gonna freaking die. And I'm thinking, what a way to go. After all this bullshit, he's gonna die from freaking burns. But they get back to Greenland. They finally make it. And the world ends 5 months later, 6 months later. Was it 2 months later? Whatever. And they come out and the birds are chirping and the end.
Happily ever after.
Pretty much. I mean, considering it's all a fucking shithole, apparently, But I mean, look, there were plot holes, obviously. There were things that you had to turn your brain off for it to work. Now, obviously, Butler as your everyman, action hero works. Back her in, she's, a capable actress, that works. The kid worked. I mean, everything, all that worked. Now, people going in expecting it's going to be, they're going to destroy New York City. When we get saved, at least on camera, you don't see it. Same for California. Tampa gets wrecked. So, Florida really gets it. But yeah, I mean, as far as a piece, like showing how the downfall of society and how I guess they make it through at the end, it works. But it was ho-hum. guess.
It was unspectacular for an apocalyptic movie. It tried to be more family drama with a redemption arc, especially just his character. And I'm sorry, you're doing an apocalyptic movie. The beginning, middle, and at the end has a few sci-fi CGI great scenes, but by and large, I kind of expected a little bit like uh, 2012, Volcano.
Yeah.
Pick one, any apocalyptic movie. It really was a letdown in terms of the blow me away cinematography, and if you're going to go the drama route, half the shit that goes on with the kid being kidnapped, this and then they find each other, is so completely unbelievable.
Yeah.
You lose me. You lose me. You tell me the kid gets kidnapped by the couple that needs an in, and he has the wristband from the lottery to get in. They're all scattered all over the highway. There should be more chaos than there was. There is not that kind of chaos all over the place. There should be worldwide looting, barbarism, all this stuff. That's
crazy.
all lacking. Yeah, and it's totally lacking, which to me was a total flaw. I get where you're going and how you center everything, but traffic seems to be moving like normal on the side. That's BS.
I mean,
There should be rampant, uncivilized acts of violence and debauchery left and right. It should be
even the
so
parties
chaotic.
that get tens, they're all like, woo, woo. And I'm like, people should be, pardon
No.
language, people should be freaking fornicating on the table, doing all kinds of crazy. If they're going to freaking go all out and the war's going to end, because they actually say, 48 hours, that's it.
Yeah, that's it for civilization.
Sometimes it's going to hit, somewhere in Europe or Africa, it's going to destroy 85% of the earth, or at least, civilization.
So those are my pet peeves with Greenland. As far as Midnight Sky, say it for what it is, it dragged. Oh my goodness.
This guy was boring to me. I mean, and I hate to say boring. It was dull. It kind of dragged. I get it. I can imagine in book form, it would have been more riveting. Would have been more.
Right, because you have an introspective of the main character and his regrets and how he's trying to make good by saving her life, regardless of the fact that he was incapable of being part of her life when she was growing up. And then the saving humanity becomes an afterthought in the background. I get that part. It was so see-through and transparent that the girl was a figment of his imagination that
If you
he dives in the trailer into the, I don't know, minus whatever degrees, freezing, hypothermia, cold water, gets out of it unscathed. Mind you, he's terminally ill, and he still makes it to the tower. You want to talk about suspension of disbelief?
Hey,
I
man,
mean, please.
he was doing it all for the children.
Right.
Now,
My willpower, I can cure my amputated leg.
Let me ask you this much. Do you think that if you take away George Clooney and you put, let's say,
Gerard Butler?
Gerard Butler in the movie, would it be better? Would it be worse?
Worse.
So Clooney
still has the star power. And mind you, he lost a unhealthy amount of weight for this movie. I believe he was almost hospitalized if he was hospitalized because he dropped so much weight to look emaciated for this flick. So that was a big letdown in that sense. It had more of the sci-fi that you want from that kind of genre. It still was lacking.
Basically, Rock is saying that Hubie Halloween is better than Midnight Sky.
I mean, watch out for our reel because we're going to reel off way more entertaining apocalyptic movies than this. I don't understand really why both movies came out. I mean, except for the pandemic, and you're trying to ride the waves of worldwide survival, panic, who knows?
What I'm thinking, man, these movies are a drag in the sense that if all things being equal, no COVID, and we're going to the theaters, and I'm watching Greenland in the big screen, I'm going to be pissed off because it's like, fuck,
I want my money back.
I'm being promised destruction, and all you get is a couple like a comet storm and a couple things here and there, and not much, and a CGI thing. Oh, there goes Florida. You didn't show me anything.
San Andreas was a better visual movie, even though the whole movie itself sucked ass. Sorry, Rock. Cousin Rock.
Yeah.
So I guess what would be appropriate
Parts around here.
in terms of what do you call it? What do we call it? Life extinction level event meteors. Out of 5 meteors, 5 being totally annihilation of the universe, but an awesome, spectacular movie. 1 being a pebble the size of half a penny drops and nobody notices. What say you about these 2 movies, Izzy?
Oh, I give Midnight Sky a 1.5 pebble.
1.5 pebble. And what say you about Greenland?
You know what? Like I said before, I'm a fan of Moira Baccarin, so I give it 2.
Okay, I ripped them to shreds, but I'm not going to be as cold as that. I'll give both movies 2 each. To me, one does not present itself better than the other with their own individual flaws. I'm not saying the performances were terrible. I think the movie as a whole,
performances were solid. I mean, if
it was solid, but the movie itself, the storyline, the plotline, the scripting, the directing, the lack of CGI where I wanted it in both, were monumentally disappointing, and therefore it's hard to even give it 3 extinction level meteors, and we'll just go with 2 okay basketball sized pebbles.
That being said, that was our verses. So in the battle of the mediocre meteor comic films, who wins?
Slight edge goes to Greenland, I suppose.
Greenland takes it for me, again, slightly. So I guess if you're bored and you finished watching Sabrina or whatever, and you want a palate cleanser, go ahead. You watch Greenland. But don't pay for it.
No, please.
I mean, try not to pay too much. How about that? There you go.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of anything. All right, so it looks like Gerard Butler has fallen once again. Pun. And thanks for listening into this quick review of 2 recently released apocalyptic movies. Again, thanks for subscribing, liking, and tuning in. And as our podcast and YouTube channel continues to grow, we will grow with you. Give us the feedback. Let us know. Thanks a bunch. Remember to save the whales.
Save the whales. Everyone take care. And as always, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Take care, guys.